against oneself, inside the self. Anime Hell 1995.
The hell are we doing?
Something interesting. I have no idea what this is, but it's been recommended to me, so it seemed cool, and we're going to do it because Twine games are neat.
Oh, we're doing it live?
Yep, we're doing it live. I have no idea what this is about.
Well, then let's fucking do this VHS bullshit.
Let's open palm slam this VHS directly into our VCR. Don't be afraid to let your body die.
Select our story.
Quit hitting yourself.
Don't take me home.
Whoops.
That's fine.
Well, I selected the first one by accident.
We're doing this.
Your fist keeps beating into your face, and their fist keeps beating into their face, and the two of you are rolling around, throwing fists without any sense of actual direction, and definitely without any skill, both of you bleeding and bruising while you roll around on the soccer field of Amherst High.
Nice.
You're tired and exhausted, but you're angry most of all, and that is what is carrying you through as you look down into her eyes, panting over her body, parts of yourself begging to just go home and get under the blankets and watch Sailor Moon or Ranma 1/2 or Bubblegum Crisis or something, anything. But you look at her, you see her, and you seethe. She makes you so fucking angry that it gets hard to breathe, it gets hard to think, it gets hard to do anything but scream. You really should be getting home now. You gasp, you rear back with your right arm, and with boiling hate choking your every thought, you throw your fist forward right into your face again. Rewind.
Alright. Interesting.
You know exactly what happened the day before everything started. You know this because you focused very, very hard on retracing your steps to see what could have caused everything. Like your teachers and your family and everybody else have told you before. When you've lost something, or when you're just trying to fix something, you have to retrace your steps. So you did, and the only thing of significance you could truly find in the day before was that you got and watched a new tape. This tape had two labels applied to it, both written on top of masking tape. First was, in all capital letters, "This tape is probably haunted." Second, just below, was simply the word anime. Well, I'm sold.
Flip it over and it just says Majora. Video game creepypastas? Are they still a thing?
As far as you could tell at the time, there was nothing actually wrong about the tape, despite the warning about it probably being haunted. When you bought it at the video store, the clerk, the usual tall, lanky fellow, with thick glasses, long hair, and a coveted collection of original, raw, untranslated manga, just gave you a shrug about whether or not the tape was filled with ghosts. I got it from a guy who got it from a guy. Couldn't tell ya. Well, dude, you're not selling me on this. I want the ghosts. Give me the ghost tape.
I want my ghost stories.
You took it. It was $2. Who wouldn't take it? You didn't even have to mess around with the tracking all that much. The anime itself was an okay cyberpunk affair that had cooler designs and characters, but you'd watched and bought worse before. You'd enjoyed worse before. It was entertaining if forgettable. The subtitling, though clearly amateur work, wasn't bad either. Nice and clear and easy to understand. Once two back-to-back episodes played, the screen fizzled out to blackness. You rewound it, popped it out, and stuck it onto your shelf next to everything else, from the official releases from Viz to the other bootleg tapes thrown together by a bunch of guys with a video toasted and about 4 or 5 VCRs. You'd never met them, and you thought to yourself you probably never would, but God bless them. You wanted something to drink then. Sprite sounded good, which of course you were out of. So you went outside.
Interesting.
That was when you saw her for the first time. She was short and wide with a round face. She had stringy long brown hair and dark blue eyes that were framed by thick round black glasses. She wore a thin green jacket with white accents and piping over a plain black shirt. Below, black jeans, plain white socks, black sneakers, cheap ones. Her skin was pale, looking like it could get frostbite in moments without proper preparation. In short, she looked exactly like you, save for one detail. When she smiled, as she was at that very moment, it was wide and broad and looked as if her cheeks were boiling with violent intent, but still, somehow, you could feel that on the other side of all that, she was thoroughly unhappy. Miserable, really. When you smiled, it was often small and weak,
When you
and
smiled,
trembled.
It was often smile. Tautological.
Let me continue.
all right.
And trembled, and came out forced, and people could far more easily tell that, on the other side of that, you were thoroughly unhappy. Miserable, really. You stared at her, and she stared at you. You both blinked exactly twice. You promptly turned back around and went inside.
Nice.
Silently, you went back to your tape shelf, and silently, you pulled out all your Ranma 1/2, and silently, you watched 3 hours of it. Then you went back outside. She's still there. She's still smiling, too, and it still looked and felt exactly the same as it did before you went back inside and watched 3 hours of anime. What the fuck is your problem, you asked her.
The fuck is yours?
She responds. Answer my question, you shot back.
Answer mine,
she fired in return. There's a pause, and both of you blinked once and only once for it, simultaneously. Then, before you could say anything, she cuts you off with this.
Nana, nana.
You hate her, you hate her, you hate her, you hate her. Repeat that a bunch of times. You hate her so much, you don't even know why you hate her, except you do, but you don't, and it's a fucking mess, and you can't articulate it to anyone, not even yourself, and you hate her, you hate her, you hate her, you hate her. You want to beat her up, you want to punch her so hard, you want to kick the shit out of her, she makes you so fucking mad. God, you hate her, you hate her, you hate her, you hate her. You hate her. Everything about her makes you so fucking mad inside. It burns you up, it eats you up, you want to cry, and you want to scream and fight and thrash, and you hate her. This was going to be a problem. She came inside your house. She wouldn't leave. And nobody else seemed to notice her, or if they did, you couldn't tell, because they certainly weren't alarmed by her existence. This trait followed her as she followed you, coming with you to school the next day, sitting right next to you on the bus. Nobody said a peep about her. Nobody said a peep about you either. You simply sat together on the same seat you took every day, the one seat you took specifically because no one else would sit there and you could be good and alone, and she sat right there with you. She walked into school with you. She came into classes with you. You could tell she wanted to leave the classes too, that she didn't honestly want to be around you or around anyone during these periods of time, and that what she really craved was getting out into the hallways, out past the doors, and doing something outside, or at the very least, crouched underneath the stairwell that led up to the library. And she came with you the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next.
Huh.
Most of the times, she'd be real quiet, just like you sometimes. Sometimes, though, she'd speak up. Just a little whisper, a poisonous little whisper that flitted through the wind and went straight into your ear, your brain, your heart. And it made your muscles tense. It made them twitch and turn violent, while simultaneously making them rot into nothingness, weak, pitiful, tired or dead, tired and dead, tired, dead. It was always single sentences, never connected, never whole speeches, sometimes statements, sometimes questions that weren't actually questions. They were the kind of jabs you get from aunts and uncles and other older relatives you hadn't seen in 4 years, and they just had to say something, and you had to be all polite about it. She'd whisper them into your ear while standing next to your chair in class. You wanted to cry and run home and punch her in the gut all at the same time. Little goddamn whispers you were supposed to just take, and you did take because you felt you had to, and even if you didn't, you felt weak and pathetic anyway. Fucking piece of shit-ass whispers.
Huh. Is she like our subconscious made manifest?
Is this like Serial Experiments Lane? Where the multiple lanes and one was a dick?
Maybe. Could be. I mean, also 14-year-olds that hang out at bars, but you know.
That too. 2 weeks passed, and she still is around. You avoid having a conversation with her if at all possible. You spend a lot more time sleeping whenever you can. Sleeping longer, too. Wake up, go back to bed. Wake up again, go back to bed. She still keeps whispering things to you, and she still keeps looking like she wants to be somewhere else while she's in class. You see that look in her more often now. At home, too. She even sits down and watches anime with you. Those are times that feel like you're gambling, because you never know when she's going to lean in and let that whisper into your ear, and when she's just going to sit and watch with you in mutual silence. And you're honestly not sure which makes you feel more uncomfortable, to have it happen or the unfulfilled anticipation of waiting for it to happen. Though you do know which one makes you angrier. Angry at her and yourself and everyone, really. One night, while she was sleeping in your room, on the floor on an extra blanket of yours, covered in another extra blanket of yours, occasionally kicking like a napping puppy and pulling the blanket closer, you woke up with a start. You had an idea. Well, first you thought about something. Then you had an idea. You thought about the tape.
It's always the tapes.
The tape, of course. That was your problem all along. The tape was actually haunted, and that's why she came here in the first place, and that's why she wouldn't leave. And you can't believe you didn't think of this in the first place, but it's probably because you were just so tired and so angry and so sad, and all you wanted to do was cry and sleep and watch some more anime and then cry and sleep some more. But the tape, you can take care of the tape, and that'll take care of all your problems. It'll be so easy, and then you won't have to think about this ever again. You feel a wave of scary relief rolling over your bones and through your blood, the kind that makes you want to giggle uncontrollably, but you throw your hand over your mouth to keep it in. After all, you're trying not to wake her up while you do this. You step out of your bed and over her, oh so delicately, taking the haunted tape out of your shelf, bringing it to the living room, going back to the bathroom to grab a towel, throwing that over the tape so you could do this quietly, or more quietly anyway. Then you root around in one of the hallway cabinets until you finally find that claw hammer with the rubber grip and the nice heft.
Oh, sweet. We're going to go old boy here.
Yep. Whistling a tune inside of your mind, you sashay your way back to the living room, looking back down at the tape, covered as it is by the fluffy pink towel. You feel a lightness in your chest and in the balls of your feet as you come down to your knees, your left hand on the floor while the right, with the hammer, pulls back. Destroy it.
Finish him.
You gave neat, controlled, but powerful smashes of the tape through the towel. 4 of them, like this. Starting from the right, smash. 1. Pull back an inch, smash. 2. Pull back an inch, smash. Wait. 3. Smash. 4. There's some smashes there.
1,
Whatever.
2, 5.
Etc. You sat there on your knees for a while, simply breathing out, feeling better. So much better. It took you 2 minutes to realize that, in addition to gasping and panting from relief, you were crying. You wiped the tears away and gave 3 long exhales, looking straight forward and smiling with exhaustion and satisfaction. Then your eyes came down to the towel and tape. You scooped it up in your hands, turning it over to survey the damage. No surprises, no sudden recovery. It was smashed but good. You wrapped the ends of the towel in your fist and bounced it up and down, listening to the plastic jingle around, loving the sound it made. It sounded like you had started to pick a lock around your heart, chained to an even bigger lock around your stomach, which was chained to a far larger lock around your throat. Stainless steel, all of them. You had lost the keys long ago, but were finding a way to pry them open all the same. Well, that's what it felt like to you, at least. Hefting the whole of the broken tape, you walked back to your room with your head high, ready to sleep well. She was there. Why was she there? Fuck her. What is it about her? You don't even know, but you know, if you fucking know how much she boils you alive, she boils your heart, she fucking boils and boils in you, and you go from red to black to red to black, and you're angry and sad, and that's all you fucking are, and you feel it in you even when she's not around, but when she is, oh, when she is, it just doesn't fucking stop. Okay, need to breathe during those.
It's okay. No one's
Why was she awake and standing in front of you?
It's okay to take a break during those. They're hard.
No.
No, they're long. You don't
No.
want to die halfway through.
That's true. You're not even 18 years old and you're a failure. Hate her, hate her, hate her, hate her, hate her. Can you believe that? You hardly do anything, and you still fuck up what you do manage to do. Hate her, hate her, hate her, hate her, hate her. All you can do right is sit still and watch anime. Punch her in the nose, punch her in the nose, punch her in the nose, punch her in the nose. You punch her in the nose.
Nailed it.
She stops talking. She just looks at you. And not with that smile of hers that doesn't feel real or honest, the one you know so well. She just looks at you with wide eyes while the air goes chokingly stagnant for the both of you. She reaches up and wipes some of the blood away, giving it only a moment of her attention. I hate you too, you know, she says, before storming past you, through the hall, the living room, and out the door. You think you've defeated her? Maybe? You don't feel any better. You want to sleep more. You go back to bed and stay awake for 30 hours.
Oh, joy.
Fast forward.
Nice.
2 more weeks passed and you didn't see her again. You still didn't feel any better. And you still kept bouncing around from wanting to sleep all day to wanting to get kicked out of school by going around punching everyone you see to wanting mostly to just cry, interspersed with watching anime to make it not feel so bad. Then, one day while skipping class, you saw her again, standing on the gross wet soccer field while a thick gray fog surrounded both of you. You felt your heart pick up in simultaneous movement with the twitching of your right arm, mostly in the biceps. Part of you, most of you really, wanted to just turn and keep walking and go home and pretend that this hadn't happened and she never existed and just hope she got bored, even if you felt miserable either way. But the anger that twisted your stomach into horrible, fitful knots drew you forward onto the field where you could already feel your shoes and socks getting soaked.
Hey!
She screamed. What? You screamed back. I realized I took some of your lines earlier by accident. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. I love your voice. Fuck you!
She screams. Fuck you! You scream back.
Fuck you!
She replies. Hey! Fuck you! You counter.
No! Fuck you!
She counters. Fuck you! You fire back.
Fuck you!
She answers. Fuck you!
Fuck you!
Fuck you!
Fuck you!
Fuck you! And that's when you both charged across the soccer field and tackled each other, and both of you started punching. This goes on for a while, like 10 minutes at least. Punch, 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 struggle, roll, breathe, punch, 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 wheeze, scream, slap, scream, punch, 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 kick, 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 grab, throw, punch, 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 gasp, 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 punch, punch. Neither of you are very good at fighting. Punch, 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 punch.
Seems about right.
It just doesn't seem to stop. Your fist keeps beating into your face, and their fist keeps beating into their face, and the two of you are rolling around, throwing fists without any sense of actual direction, and definitely without any skill, both of you bleeding and bruising while you roll around on the soccer field of Amherst High. You're tired and exhausted, but you're angry most of all, and that is what is carrying you through as you look down into her eyes, panting over her body, parts of yourself begging to just go home and get under the blankets and watch Sailor Moon or Ranma 1/2 or Bubblegum Crisis or something, anything. But you look at her, you see her, and you seethe. She makes you so fucking angry that it gets hard to breathe, it gets hard to think, it gets hard to do anything but scream. You really should be going home now. You gasp, you rear back with your right arm, and with boiling hate choking your every thought, you throw your fist forward right into your face again. You're bleeding, which means she's bleeding, and you're crying, which means she's crying. You're bruised, and she's bruised. Fair's fair, even if it's not fair at all. In a haze, both of you somehow end up sitting outside of the quality shop, your faces covered in dried tears, dried blood, and dried spit, eating French fries and feeling exhausted, physically and emotionally.
I want to buy some quality, please. 1 gallon of quality. I'm angry and fucked up and sad all the time, and I don't really know why or what to do with it.
You nod and reply, "Me too," before eating another French fry and then wiping some of the blood off your cheek.
You learning anything?
She asks. "I don't know," you answer. Your fingers and toes fiddle around. "Did you?"
Not enough to, actually solve the problem.
"Me either." You both breathe out. "Why do you think we're sad and miserable and tired so much?"
Christ.
She huffs.
I think it's a lot of things. I don't think there's any one real answer. And even if there was, that wouldn't be, fix everything, I don't think.
"Yeah." You pause, leaning forward and putting your chin in your hands. "I don't want to be angry at myself for being sad and fucked up."
Are you still?
She asked. "Yeah," you answered, looking to the sidewalk. "But I don't want to be. I don't think I deserve it, at least. Not right now, anyway."
Well, that's something.
She said, eating more of the French fries.
I don't want to be angry at myself for it either, but I still kind of am.
"That's something," you say, with a very tired smile.
To start.
She continues, before standing up and reaching her hand down.
Of course I'd like to be, way ahead of that, but to start. You want to be friends?
"Better than beating each other up," you say, taking her hand and hoisting yourself up. You look at her and see the short, wide girl in the green jacket and the pale skin who looks exactly like you.
I'm Sarah,
said Sarah. And you said, "Me too." Huh,
anthology series? Is this just VCR?
I don't know. That was interesting. That was cool.
All right, let's try Don't Take Me Home.
Yeah, let's explore this some more. Escape from Paradise, episode 12. Don't Take Me Home.
I need a minute.
I love the visual aesthetic of this. This is perfect. This is so good.
Oh my god. That's an NGE thing, right?
Yeah.
That's meant to mimic NGE? Okay.
Yeah.
Just double checking. You're doing a great job narrating, by the way.
Thank you.
I really like it.
Thanks.
Why do you let me talk all the time?
I like it when you talk.
But I like it when you talk.
Okay. We should both talk. Always.
Talk.
Boy, we really ran into trouble with that skeleton dragon, you said, to your faithful companion Janer, the mouse lizard who packed a surprising punch with a sword.
Yeah, but it turned out all right once we found out they were just trying to find a place to sleep.
She replied, taking it easy by resting on your shoulders while you did the majority of the trudging to the next town, to the next adventure. You didn't mind. You didn't mind at all. You didn't even really mind having to fight the skeleton dragon and solve their problems in the first place. Why would you? It was gorgeous in Azurena, with the oceans blue, the grass green, and the sky also blue. There was adventure and excitement around every corner. Most importantly, you were valued. Though not always known to everyone, you were a hero, righting wrongs and helping others and feeling the strength in your hands that surged out, that let you accomplish these things in the first place. It was so nice here in Azurena. You didn't even mind Janer's awful puns.
I am so in character. Sorry, I didn't mean to pause the video.
Ah.
All right, go ahead.
You didn't mind putting your life on the line just about every week, if not every day. You didn't mind fighting all the time. You were smiling and coming up aces the whole way through. It was so nice here in Azurena. The minutes passed as you and Janer kept strolling forward, down the path and towards the golden city of Dinah. Pronounced Dinah. While Janer kept pestering you to get a horse, and you would laugh, and you two would rib each other back and forth, poking fun and reminiscing on all your previous adventures to recover the 6 million or so pieces of the moon jewel, and more or less superglue it back together. It would stop some terrible prophecy, or save the world, or it would do something important. You couldn't always remember what. It felt so far off, so distant, and so far away from where your mind was day to day, especially with just how nice everything felt. Then the hair on the back of your neck flared up, sweat rolling down it, as you felt that sudden hammer of gravity pulling in on your skin. It put Janer on alert, too, standing up on your shoulders and turning around to see what had you frozen still. It was a giant black hole in the sky. Everything else was the same. The rest of the sky was still beautifully blue, and the rest of the trail was still bright and gorgeous and cheery, with lovely light colors. There was simply just a giant black hole in the middle of it all now. What the heck is that? Janer asked, with more than a little fear rising up in their
Hey,
throat.
you stole my line.
Sorry.
What the heck is that?
Janer asked, with more than a little fear rising up in their throat. Hold on, you replied, not answering their question, breaking into a sprint, Janer yowling out,
Yowl!
as they dug their hands into your clothes, trying to hang on as you ran for your life, eyes on the prize, staring out towards the golden city of Dinah, which now felt so far away. But you had to get there. If you got there, you'd be safe. You'd have to be. The black hole couldn't stop you there. Janer should have known what that thing was. They'd seen it all the time before. They'd seen it every time you came down into Azurena. But every time the black hole appeared, it wasn't long until everyone but you forgot about it. No, not this time, not this time, please not this time. Everything was feeling so good and right, and you helped the skeleton dragon. Didn't you earn this? Didn't you earn this? Didn't you earn some extra time to stay? Please, no, not this time. You didn't have time to think about all that. You had to run. You're running so hard and so fast. You want to believe this is the hardest and fastest you've ever run in your life, but you know this is not true, no matter how hard you are gasping and panting now. You know this is not true because you know you were running exactly this hard last week, and the week before that, and the week before that, and the week before that. Janer is screaming and yelling.
Ah! Oh!
And
Scream! Yell!
and demanding to know what's going on.
I demand to know what's going on.
And you yell something about explaining later. There's no time to explain. You just need to get to Dinah. That's all you need. That's all you want. You just need to get to the golden city of Dinah. And, well, then the black hole in the sky has to back off, right? It always catches you like this. In between cities. In between adventures. It comes down on you without warning, without even a noise, but you can always feel it. You can feel its weight, its immeasurable pull, and the way that strength gets heavier and harder and more choking around your lungs as it comes down from the sky, closing in on you no matter how hard you run. The golden city of Dinah is 4 miles away. You are moving at about 20 miles per hour. The massive black hole is only getting bigger, and is 30 feet behind you at this point. There's something interesting about that.
Math.
The black hole does not exert its gravity, its weight, its pull on anything else. It does not exert it on Janer. It does not exert it on the forest. It does not exert it on the grass, the dirt, the dust. It does not exert itself on the entire rest of Azurena. The black hole is concerned with, and only concerned with, you. Just you. You're still running, still hoping to, somehow, miraculously, get to the golden city of Dinah, and that will perform a miracle of its own, and somehow stop the black hole from following you any further. You're not sure how it'd do this. You just hope for it so hard that you believe it to be true. You're running so hard, and your heart is beating so fast, and you're sweating so much, and the black hole is just getting bigger and faster, and you just aren't fast enough. You can't make it to the golden city of Dinah. You don't make it to the golden city of Dinah.
Uh-oh.
It swallows you up. Not Janer.
Hey!
Not the rest of the forest. Not any other piece of Azurena. Just you. Once inside of it, you tumble through a whole lot of nothing. Just falling straight down and through nothing, towards what would appear to be nothing. This lasts for exactly 5 minutes. If you were older or smarter, or just more emotionally composed right now, you might think of the scientific implications of all of this, but you just don't care. You haven't cared since you first discovered the secret, and you didn't care the first time the black hole swallowed you up. All you know is that you are crying inside of the black hole, and you are crying because you've been taken away from Azurena yet again. The nothingness comes to an end as a faint glow of a TV screen comes into existence straight beneath you. You refuse to look at it. Falling through the screen, you tumble back into your living room. This is not a surprise to you anymore, so it fails to distract you or stall you from continuing to cry your heart out, balled up on the floor, clutching yourself, feeling desperation swelling inside of you like a steel balloon. It's not fair, you sniffle, and then wipe at your nose. They always say the words not fair, but it's still not fair, and you cry some more. What?
Escape from Paradise, episode 12, Don't Take Me Home. And Janor have another roadblock on their travels to find all the pieces of the moon jewel. This time it's a fearsome skeleton dragon, which brings up one important question. How can you stop something that's already dead? And more secrets are found in the life of... all in episode 12 of Escape from Paradise, Don't Take Me Home.
What the fuck is going on? And you cry some more. This has been your routine for a while now.
This feels like a Black Mirror episode.
Wait, no, this is Persona 4.
Oh, you're right, I'm sorry.
There was a secret about your TV that you discovered some time ago. Once a day, you could go inside it. And you would. Gleefully, even. After the initial shock of being able to shove your hand, even your own head, into the TV screen without feeling glass and electricity coming down on you and killing you dead, you went from worry and nervousness to a feeling of sheer glee.
Wait, never mind. It's Videodrome.
Good. My reference earlier landed. You gladly pulled yourself into the TV and the world you had on the other side of it. And you did this with an anime, and you delighted in being part of the world. Hell, more than just part of the world, part of the story. Until the black hole came down, swallowed you up, and spit you back into your living room, leaving you to cry and try desperately to get back into your TV that night. It didn't work. You sniffed and sobbed and went into your bed and slept, trying to tell yourself that you had imagined the whole thing. The next day, you couldn't help yourself and tried to get back into the TV. It worked. It worked, and you were so excited, and you had the time of your life living in this totally other world where the fantastical was not only possible, it was every day. And there was comedy and adventures and people. People you weren't afraid of, and it was just incredible and wonderful. And then the black hole came back at the end, swallowed you up, and spit you back into the living room. Not fair. It's not fair. They always say it's not fair, that nothing's fair, and it doesn't help. It doesn't help at all. It never helps. Who did they ever think those words would help someone? Are they even listening? Do they even want to listen? Is this just them repeating the same thing someone else told them because they don't know what else to say? It's not fair. Well, of course it's not fair, but I found something that should have made it fair. Made it more than fair, but even that's not fair. So what am I supposed to do? Tell me something other than it's not fair. Help me. Help me, please. So you got to understand the rules of the secret of your TV, which didn't make it any easier. You'd go in every day trying to make each trip last longer, to last forever if at all possible, and if inevitably, unceremoniously, the black hole would show up and swallow you and spit you back into your living room. And most of the time, you'd cry about it. You didn't feel bad about crying, at least, so there was that. But you'd still be locked out of your TV for the rest of the day, and it was really all you wanted to do. It was the only place you wanted to be, because, well, remember what it's like outside of there? So of course, you wanted to spend as much time as you could inside of that secret world.
You want me to?
I don't know.
You, also known as me, aka me and you. Song by you, lyrics by me. Give me down a beat. Tired, 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 tired all the time. Angry, 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 angry all the time. Who's useless? Who's useless? Tired, 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 tired all the time. Angry, 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 angry all the time. Who's useless? Who's useless? Dubstep. Whoa, 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 whoa. Don't wanna, 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 don't wanna. Don't. Does anybody even know how to actually listen? Do I even know how to listen to them? Does anybody have anything to say other than life's not fair? Is everyone just as tired and confused as me? Tired, 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 tired all the time. Angry, angry, angry. Angry, angry all the time. Who's useless? Who's useless? Yeah.
Clap on, clap off.
Oh my god, we can't do singing for shit.
That was something.
Never again.
Let's pretend that didn't happen.
Alright.
So of course, you wanted to spend as much time as you could inside of that secret world, especially once you finally got those tapes to Escape from Paradise. Escape from Paradise makes you the happiest, so of course it also hurts the most when you got pulled away from it. How often have you been sleeping lately? Do you even know why? Have you talked to anyone about it? Do you think they tell you anything useful? Wait, is this game just Depression Quest?
I mean, I assume most Twine games are.
False. We just played 4 games that were not Depression Quest at all.
Okay, fine. That's fair. Point made.
So of course, it's all you think about at school. 8 hours, anxiety, stress, fear. Fear of failure, most of all. And from there, fear of no future. All fear that screwing up here will mean the end of everything. That you'll ruin everything before you even get the chance to start. So of course, you don't even start. You once ran from class crying after a bad grade on the test and hid underneath the stairwell for the rest of it. You really wish you were watching Escape from Paradise then. So of course, it's all you do in the morning. Up at 5 in the morning, not to get anything done, but just because you wanted a little extra time with the world you actually liked.
Ooh.
So of course, it's not fair. The thing that got you the most about all of this is, in Escape from Paradise, the person gets sucked into a fantasy world, and a mage there greets them and tells them then that it is impossible to go back home. When they told you this, you were, of course, ecstatic. Then far less so when you discovered that, whether they meant to be or not, they were a liar, so long as the black hole still existed. The day after you were running to the golden city of DEVOUR, you went back into the TV, and you made it into the golden city. And you were so happy.
Jainer's still here!
And after another adventure, the black hole came back, swallowed you up, and spit you back into the living room. So of course you cried about it again, and wished someone would just tell you some answers. About anything, really. Anything at all, other than that one sentence that made you burn from the inside out, your guts and throat turning to ashes when they said it, because it simply did not help at all. Much like other sentences, ones you'd heard too often. You believed they were trying to help, but that they just had no idea how. They didn't understand, and that was all they had. You often wished they'd said nothing at all instead.
Shit, we are just playing Depression Quest again.
You didn't know what to do about anything else, so you wanted to spend all your time in Escape from Paradise. You didn't know what to do about yourself, so you wanted to spend all your time in Escape from Paradise. Nobody ever seemed to have any useful advice, so you wanted to spend all your time in Escape from Paradise. When you were in Escape from Paradise, all you wanted to do is be in Escape from Paradise. How much time did you spend outside of Escape from Paradise? And how much of that time did you spend feeling awful? Or not even having enough energy to feel awful? You thought about it. In the golden city of DEVOUR, you decided to not go on any adventures that day, to not leave the city. You stayed inside the city grounds, and you walked and thought, and walked and thought. You started and stopped, talking to no one but yourself. I don't know if I'm actually happy here. This feels less like it's making me happy, and more like it's some kind of shield? A shield from anything? Myself? And even if it wasn't, I only get so long in here. You looked down at your hands and at the stone-cobbled street below you. You thought of the sword on your back and the book of magic spells in your backpack, and thought about how you only got to spend a fraction of each day with them, and everything else was spent wanting to get back to them, to get back to inside of the secret of the TV, to get back inside of Ozarena, and how miserable you'd be until you did. Lord, you spent so much time just being miserable. I don't know what to do. Nobody else knows what to do either. But I'm not actually getting any better in here. You're just getting worse, you thought. You didn't know what to do. That was true. You didn't have any answers. That was true. Nobody you asked seemed to know answers either. All you were certain of was it wasn't going to get any better this way. Jainer, you said, once you got back into your room. She jumped to attention, looking upbeat, bright and excited, stretching her fur and scales.
We finally going on an adventure then, boss?
Not right now, you said, and came over and pat her on the head, which she looked indignant and confused about.
I'm both indignant and confused.
See you later. Then you left the room and went out into the streets and picked up a rock. You looked up. The black hole hadn't come back yet. You looked down. The rock was still in your hand. You threw the rock as hard as you could into the sky, and the sky shattered. The sky shattered, and the world fell out from under you. You fell through a void which after 5 minutes ended when the faint light of a TV screen came up underneath you. You looked right at it and fell back into your living room. You didn't cry this time. You simply breathed. Your TV was fine, and Escape from Paradise was still playing on the VCR. You didn't eject it. You didn't feel the need to right now, but you didn't pay it the kind of attention you had the day before. You walked over to your desk and pulled out a pen and a sheet of paper and a roll of tape. And on that paper, in the biggest letters you could, you wrote this: I'm not happy, not right now. You taped that to your wall. But then you took out another piece of paper and you wrote this: But I'm going to take care of myself anyway. And you taped that to your wall, just below that first piece of paper. You didn't know a thing, and nothing was really solved yet. That was okay, you thought, as long as you took care of yourself. You could figure out things in time. Well, that hit weirdly close to home.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. That whole escapist kind of fantasy of being depressed and being like, oh, I want to go spend time in this world where stuff makes sense and everything's... Like, I mean, the same kind of feeling applies to, like, playing video games or, you know, disappearing in a book.
Did I tell you about the year of my life that I spent not going to school? I got suspended.
No, tell me about this.
I got suspended from my first year of high school and spent a fucking year not going to school and sleeping during the day and being awake during the nights and watching anime in my mother's basement and not talking to anyone for a year.
What did you do to get suspended?
Be depressed. Instead of helping me, they were afraid of me.
Oh! Was this before you moved up here?
Nope, this was after I moved up here. But before I figured out all of the sexuality and gender stuff, and it was hard and confusing.
Aww.
And
Honey, I'm gonna hug you, but keep telling your story.
But yeah. So that story was like, oh hey, that's me, like 14, 15 years ago. Shit. So yeah. Anyway.
Wow.
That was something.
Wow.
All right. Episode 3. Expletive dub.
All right.
Hail the new Flash.
Wait, did you really make a reference to Videodrome earlier that I missed?
I fucking said don't be afraid to let your body die when we started.
Oh shit, you so did. I am clearly have not seen that film in too long a time.
Yep. In any case,
something cancer
who wants
gun.
to fucking fight?
Apparently we do.
We do. I bet my fucking dad wants to fight. Who else wants to fight?
Is this just Marble Hornets?
To be perfectly frank, I think everyone wants to fight. God knows that I fucking do, all the fucking time. For the love of God, let me fight something. Shit, fuck on, piss on, everything fuck shit. Fuck and piss.
I mean, if you're into it.
I need to fight, because I don't feel like I have any other outlet. If we're being totally honest here, I mean, and sometimes I just need to scream, you know?
Do you want me to do the subtitles, or do you want to do
you can do the subtitles.
To show you a terror beyond hell. That was our agreement, wasn't it?
Fuck, 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 fuck.
I thought the subtitles were going to be a thing, so just go ahead. Don't
They
let me
will be.
interrupt.
Yep. That's enough noise.
I'm super wet.
That what?
What? Just making noise.
Okay.
Random noise. Completely at random.
In any case. Okay. I feel a little better now.
Huh.
What?
Was that...
What?
Okay.
That was strange.
That was a thing. Huh.
All right.
Guess it's time for Anime Hell 1995.
Yep, on to the self-titled album. Yes, time travel is real. But that's not the important thing right now. Yes, I know that sounds fucking ridiculous to say. Look, I'm not even entirely sure how I managed to get here. I'm sure as fuck not smart enough to build a time machine or even how to pilot one. It's one of those fucking TV magic bullshit kind of deals. It just happened. Yes, I swore. You're gonna do that a lot in the future. Relax, okay? Okay, yes. I know this isn't the best time to tell you to relax. I mean, I know. I was there. Here, I mean. This moment exactly. I'm kind of doing this on the fly, so just give me a little room to work, okay? I know you've been crying all night, and you don't want to go back out into the convention because you messed up. I know this because I am you, and that's exactly what I felt too. I just wanted to stay here the whole time. We wanted to do that. We said the wrong thing, we did the wrong thing, we imagined we did the wrong thing. Man, I was really into Gundam Wing back in the day. Huh. Way before even Toonami got it. Wait, fuck, I'm getting off track. Hold on. Look, okay, here's one of the important things about the future. 2015 exists. And you're in it. I'm proof. 2015 exists, and you're still there. That's really important to know, I think, at least from where I'm standing, that you're still around. Something as little as that. It eases up you eating your own stomach alive, right? To have at least a little certainty. Like, I know this is basically hell for you right now, but that's what I want you to know. You're still here. Any of this, is not your downfall. It's just a fuck-up, right? A fuck-up compounded by depression, anxiety, and nervousness, I know, but it's still just a fuck-up.
The hell happened?
This is an anime convention in 1995. You don't know it yet, but nobody's going to worry about this shit in 2015. People will barely have any records of it, honestly. Kind of a shame, if you ask me. I get a little nostalgic, which is surprising, I know, considering where we are sitting here, bawling our eyes out because talking to people and meeting people and being around people is painfully hard. You'll be okay, though. Nervous, but okay. Like, I'm not going to tell you that everything's fantastic, or that good shit is guaranteed or whatever, but I am going to tell you the facts. This event is a temporary problem. You probably already know that, but you need to really, really know that, to see that. You exist tomorrow, and you exist the day after that. You have time. You're still going to have to deal with nervousness and anxiety and all that kind of shit. Like, yeah, that shit doesn't just go away, and there's no real magic solution to it. There's a bunch of things you can try in conjunction with each other. But the important thing, if you ask me, is you exist tomorrow, and 20 years from now. I'm right here and there. Embarrassment is not forever. A lot of embarrassment is actually a fake idea, but you'll learn that too. You'll still be afraid of it, but not as much. But you're here tomorrow, and the rest of the week. And you're here the next year, and look, I've been repeating this a lot because I really want you to get it. You're going to feel guilt, and you're going to feel anxiety and nervousness, and you're going to feel fucked up over it. But none of this is the end, or even permanent. I get it. You care about others so much that even the littlest mistake, the littlest embarrassment is massive. It holds on you like a giant fucking stone. But if you care that much, it's really hard to believe that you're that much of the fuck-up you think you are. You get me? You're kind of just wailing on yourself for not being perfect because you want to be able to, like, glide effortlessly through things. You want to make everyone happy and feel good. And one twitch of wrong is enough to trigger that kind of, well, what we were doing right now. Feeling like things are fucked up forever and ever. But listen, you care about others. You want to do good. You want to do good so bad you're beating up on yourself for itty-bitty mistakes, which is a hell of a lot more than a lot of other people can claim. I mean, hell, you've seen them here today. You saw them in the convention. They didn't give a shit about anyone at all. They were assholes, huge fucking assholes, and they didn't feel bad about it at all. They were gliding on air. Meanwhile, you get so worked up on fucking up that even imagining doing something wrong puts you in a situation like this. You care about people, right? So keep that in mind. You can't be the awful beast you believe yourself to be if you care like that. You hadn't even done anything wrong, really. You just believe you did, or would, or that being awkward is enough of a sin as is. You're here tomorrow, and you're here next week. You'll fuck up and be awkward, and you'll still struggle, yeah. But you're still here. So keep that in mind when you get the urge to beat on yourself like that, yeah? These kinds of mistakes are not permanent. Not at all. Anyway, breathe. Take some time to yourself. Go back into the convention when you feel ready for it. If you feel overwhelmed by the crowds, find some space to be alone and breathe and recover again. Look out for yourself, and take time to recharge when you need to. And remember that I'm looking out for you, even when you believe nobody is. This is all a little chicken soup for the soul-y, I know, and that's not terribly helpful. Which is why I'm not going to tell you everything's going to be alright, because 1, I can't guarantee that, 2, that's not actually helpful to say, and 3, you wouldn't believe it anyway. I'm just telling you, these mistakes are not some scarlet letter. Did I read that book at this point? I think so. That you can't get rid of. Most people won't even notice or remember it. Enjoy yourself. Anyway, that's all I can think of to say right now. I don't know how much I can or should be able to fuck with the timeline, or I'm really not sure how this even entirely works. Am I some kind of time ghost? Would that this ghost
were a time ghost.
Not sure, but whatever the case, I'm not going to give a ton of spoilers on the future, and it's not like I ever paid attention to the stock market, so no help there. So that's what I've got to say. I am, however, going to find and grab a bunch of old-ass novelty soda while I'm still here, and see if I can take that into the future to sell on eBay. Motherfuckers go wild for vintage cans of Surge and all kinds of other ridiculous shit. I'm not sure if Surge came out this year, but I'll check. Just take a little more time to look out for yourself, okay? Your 2015 self hugs you gently. You, somewhat awkwardly at first, hug back. Then they smile at you, get up, and wave goodbye as they walk out the door. Surge did not come out until the following year. You started to look out for yourself a little more in 1995. Holy shit, secret episode!
Oh, shit.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, man.
Oh, hell.
Okay, so Twine games are basically two varieties, right?
Mm-hmm.
Depression and anxiety, and gay.
Most both. In any case.
Or sex.
Mm-hmm.
Could go, but sex, there a lot of the sexy ones are also gay. So,
Mm-hmm. And some also depressing.
And some also depressing. All right, time for a secret episode.
Here we go, episode 26.
Jeez.
You wake up inside of a massive pile of VHS tapes. This is not your primary concern, at least as far as you can think. Climbing, digging your way out, you pop your head out of the pile of tapes like a prairie dog emerging from sand.
Neat.
The pile of tapes are in the middle of a park that seems the right kind of size for a small, fairly well-maintained city, likely in the northeastern United States. In the distance, you can see basketball courts and a pair of soccer nets. It's bright, it's cheery, the weather is very kind and nice and mild right now. And you are in the middle of the park, with your head poking out of a giant pile of VHS tapes. Just a little ways in front of you, you can see yourself. They are chewing and blowing a piece of fruit punch gum. That's it, you holler at them, digging your way out of the tapes and sliding down towards the ground. The bubble pops and they turn their attention to you, chewing on it and smiling a little.
That's it,
they say. I was hoping for something more, you start, getting closer to them.
Explosive, definitive, all-encompassing?
They say, offering their own ideas. Yeah.
Well, sorry, but it's not like I have all the big-ass philosophical whatever the fuck answers. If I did, you would too, right?
I guess.
And those kind of answers don't even, well, answer everything, even if they want to.
How do you mean, you ask to yourself?
I mean,
yourself says,
that even if you have all the big personal revelations in the end about how the world works or what your own problems are or whatever the fuck, just knowing that shit doesn't fix the whole deal. It doesn't work that way. You're still gonna feel sad and fucked up, and often it'll be for no reason at all, and you know it'll be for no reason at all.
Yeah, but...
And that's without even getting to the medical side of this stuff. The big fucking finale revelation about the personal self only goes so far. It doesn't make all the shit fade away. You're still dealing with a lot of stuff, internally and externally. For some things, you might even have to take medicine, and some medicine might make even shit even worse. There's no big, incredible revelation to be made about that. That's the mundane but important shit. The facts of the matter.
Yeah, but... You try again.
Look, all of this, is really just the start.
They say, knowing you don't have anything much to add to that but. I'd like to add a thing or two to that but, if you know what I'm saying.
Are you talking about actual butts?
Yes.
Nice.
Just the start, huh?
I mean, if we're being honest, yeah. Even huge, big-ass personal revelations about the self are just the fucking start, you know? They're a foothold.
That's not really what I was hoping for, you reply.
Me either.
They reply back.
If all of us could just whisk this shit away by having a big climactic moment about it, God, that'd be fucking amazing.
If that's the case, you say, and you know it to be the case, is there any big advice, big moment, big words you want to have for me anyway?
Just the same thing I've been saying the whole way.
Which is? You ask yourself. Yourself grunts, blows another fruit punch bubblegum bubble, lets it pop, and chews it around their mouth again.
Take care of yourself.
That's it?
Take care of yourself even when you think you don't deserve it. Even when you're most miserable. Even at the worst of times. You're going to have a hell of a lot of trouble getting to a better place if you don't take care of yourself.
Like, just be happy? You say, a little snidely.
Of course not. Telling you to be unhappy is just incredibly fucking unhelpful. You can't switch that shit on. It's often miserable trying to.
They grunt again, standing up and looking toward the sky.
What I'm saying is, even when you feel like you'll never be happy again, or that you don't deserve happiness, take care of yourself. to get by in the meanwhile.
And that's just the start, huh?
That's it. It's just a start.
I'm still kind of disappointed, you say, grudgingly standing up next to yourself.
I would be too.
They laugh.
But hey, if you want, I can do this. It won't help a ton in this context, I don't think, but I do think it'll be funny.
Do what? You reply, quizzical. They step forward, turn around, and face you. Then, with a big smile, they clap their hands.
Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Congratulations! Penguin noise.
You blink 3 times, and then you start laughing. Thank you for playing Anime Hell 1995.
Take care of yourself. God damn. That was a really sweet game.
That was cool and weird and great, and
It has a fucking
hell yeah.
Great message to it too.
What a good game.
Take care of yourself.
Thank you, Colin Spacetwinks.
Even when you feel like you don't deserve it, when shit feels like it's going bad, take care of yourself.
Yep.
Or as I believe it was popularized in a modern TV show, treat yourself.
I'm not sure if that's the same, but we'll close enough.
Yeah, well, history will decide.
Close enough.
Thanks for playing this with us, guys.
Hell yeah.
Alright, so I think you'll like the one I picked out for us to play next.
I don't know whether I'll like it because my eyes are closed.
Okay, go ahead and unclose your eyes and remove the thing that's on top of your eyes.
Okay. DEVOUR comfort.
We kept talking about Vor.
For comfort. Oh! Okay.
The goal of the game is to get a big dragon to let you sleep in her mouth.
That's
Let's
cool.
do it. Let's do it. Come on.
Let's get in there. Well, hello there. No, don't tell me. I see it on your face already. I see you're hungering for something. Haha, get it? Hungering.
Now, do we just go like, yes, I get it? Or, yeah.
Nervous laugh, yeah.
Yeah, nervous laugh.
Ah, yes, I love a good bad joke too. It can be important, you know, to enjoy things that aren't great. I'm not sure I can find the words for it, but I think you'd understand what I mean.
I get you.
I sure do understand. I love things that are bad and awful.
Well, I mean, it's also like, not everything has to be high fucking art.
Also, bad things are good.
Okay, fine.
Well, that's good. It keeps us from talking about that for a whole long while, putting off the reason you came to me in the first place. And don't ask how I know. It's just, well, I've seen enough of types like you. I know that twitch in the shoulders, the invisible knot in the stomach. I can tell when you're digging your teeth into your cheek, looking for the words to ask for something that must feel so bizarre to think, much less say out loud. So let's skip that part too, yes?
Sure, no problem.
What I want to skip ahead to, what I want to ask is, why choose me? I know my name gets around, but I also know I'm hardly the only one who can do this kind of thing, who's willing to do this kind of thing, if I feel like it. To be honest, I've kind of got a thing for dragons and plants and goo.
You're the only one I know of? Or you're the closest by, like, several countries.
I'm picking the goo.
Okay.
Ahaha, all those at once, huh? Well, there I am. Though I hope, no, more than hope, require, that you see me more than that. Well, oh, wait, that's you.
Well, yeah, you're talking to me, aren't you? You're not, like, something I drew up.
I most certainly am not. I think, even with all your imagination, you wouldn't have quite dreamt up me. I'm a little too specific, aren't I? And when we dream up things, when we dream up living, talking things, we can't help but leave our own mind print on them, much as we might try otherwise. The me you'd make would always be different than the me I am.
I guess? No, yeah, definitely.
Didn't expect being so forthright about your turn-ons would turn into something decidedly non-sexual,
No.
Well, that's the reality of the matter. Doing something like this with someone else, even when it's about arousal, it's not just about arousal. Because if it was, it'd just have to be about what you feel. What you feel. But what I feel is just as important here. Consider it a negotiation of sorts, though I think that makes it sound so impersonal in a way. Like we're at a business meeting. But the definition meets the needs at the moment. You twist a little, not sure how to react to all these thoughts. Instead, you digest them and let them sit. That's probably for the best. Have you ever seen a dragon, a real dragon, before?
No.
Still just drinking me in, eh?
Oh God, yes.
She's a dragon, but not a dragon as you would know them, or as most people would know them. No, while she has the general shape of a dragon, the scales of a dragon, a whole bunch of individual pieces of what you would call a dragon, there are many other pieces all on top of that, organically all grown together in tight yet loose, invisible cords within the body and outside of it. The stomach is the most notable part, or being more truthful, the more attention-grabbing part. Scales from the rest of the body curve towards the stomach and then change, slowly, becoming petals, stems, a green sheen of plant life. And those themselves curve as well to the center of the stomach, which is open, or can open. There is a mesh of teeth running up and down her stomach in an arc, each interlocking with the others. Between the teeth, you can see flickers of red, shining through the pale bony white of the teeth, and contrasting so deeply with the grass green of the outer stomach immediately surrounding it. Like a giant Venus flytrap planted into an even larger dragon. There's ooze, too. Not the cold kind that makes goosebumps run up your arm. You can't touch it, can't feel it, not yet. But you look at the blue goo seeping and rolling behind those snapped-together stomach teeth, and you can tell, you can feel, you just believe it'd be warm.
I'll be in my bunk.
Then there's the rest of her. The stomach is certainly large enough to devour you whole, but so is her head. Her neck wreathed by a mane made of a mass of white and red and yellow flower petals, her head rested on top, stretched tall into the trees above you and looking down at you now with curious amusement. And her head, her throat, is also massive. When she smiles, you can see her sharp teeth, but you look past them to focus on her tongue and how large it is, how large the mouth that holds it all together is, and how she could easily fit your whole body in there, slide you down her gullet without taking a single bite out of you. It makes you breathe a sigh of relief. Then there's some of the blue ooze up there too, trickling just off the edge of her white tongue. She laughed again. Oh, look at that. The more you look at me, the more you're relaxing. Curious, curious. Not uncommon exactly, but curious. I can see your shoulders come down, just a few inches, but it makes all the difference, doesn't it? It's so different than those who bite their lips, or cross their legs, or blush, or rub their foot into the grass. Not that I have anything against any of them, no. I just mean, it's different.
Well, we've all got our reasons for wanting to see someone like you, don't we?
That you all do. That you all do. So, tell me more about why you're here. Tell me more about why you're here to see me. I only do this kind of thing if I want to, if I like the person I'm doing it with, so you're going to have to tell me about yourself. You need to tell me why you want to be eaten. And please be honest, we're the only ones here in this forest. If you find this kind of thing embarrassing, it's not like your friends or potential employers are going to find out about it.
Unless we record it and put it on YouTube.
Oh well.
Nah. So a couple of options here. You can find it relaxing, soothing. I can't imagine even a day at the spa would help me relax more. That one I can get.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been curious about what it would actually feel like and if I'd actually like it. All right. Life has been exhausting lately. I feel like I don't have any energy to myself. I feel like no matter how many times I've gone to bed, I can never actually slept. I think this would help me rest. And I don't need to tell you anything.
That
last
wrong.
one seems counterproductive.
Yep.
Honestly, I'm leaning towards number one.
Okay.
Kind of being like, that way we're not solely being like, oh, it's just an experiment. It's more like, yeah, this would help me relax, and that's something I'm looking forward to.
Well, let's see. Oh, I don't doubt it'd help you relax. I did just see your shoulders come down like that, but that's very, how to put it? That's a very surface-level reason to want to be eaten. Saying you want to relax is something, but that doesn't tell me why you want to relax. What you're relaxing from. Tell me more.
I guess we tell her our life has been exhausting.
Yep. The world's been hanging heavy on you, Or maybe not the world. Maybe just your piece of it. Maybe both? The micro and macro. No, that sounds so impersonal, so newspaper economist. The big and the small, they both can affect us and affect each other, affecting us deeper. I understand. Is this your first time trying something like this?
Yes, or yes. Let's just go with yes.
Yep. I suspected as much. She props her head on her hand, laying on her side in the glass clearing. She yawns, and her second mouth yawns with her. You can see the tongue in her stomach mouth, pressed down low, immersed in that blue ooze. When she yawns, it reminds you of a cat doing the same. Tell me about yourself.
What?
I said, tell me about yourself.
Oh, no, I heard you. I just mean, what do you want to know about me?
Whatever you think is worth sharing.
That seems vague.
Oh, it is. Intentionally so. What you think is worth sharing says plenty on its own, doesn't it?
Ah.
So go on. Tell me about yourself.
Alright, let's see what our options are. I like the internet? No. I like soft music? Nah. I'm a lot more scared and nervous more often than my friends know or suspect. When I was 9, I told a friend at their birthday party that I didn't like them anymore because I was mad that they got something for their birthday that I wanted for my own earlier that year and didn't get. They cried and cried and I was apologizing for a whole week. I wanted to die right then. Not seriously, not really. But that was the feeling in my head, in my stomach. I had my first kiss when I was 14 with someone who was 16. I think it was the best kiss I ever had because they were patient with me and took their time to relax me, hold me, tell me it was all right, and that I wasn't a good kisser, and that it was all right. I was only getting my first kiss now. The kiss itself was only okay, actually, but everything around it. I think about it a lot. First time I thought about what it'd be like to be eaten was while watching a Saturday morning cartoon. A big old whale ate the entire cast and turned out to be the whale was doing it to protect and hide them for the bad guys. I think I'm leaning towards long option 1 or 2.
Yeah, me too, definitely.
I don't know. Do we want to share more about our anxiety or the comfort?
Maybe the comfort.
The comfort? Let's do the comfort then.
Ah, I see. You're not usually one to take the initiative, are you?
No, I am not.
Fearful of doing something wrong or feeling lost? Both?
Definitely both.
You haven't found a way yet to take the lead, have you?
Not really. But is that so bad?
Not necessarily. But if you're all by yourself...
Then it wears you down.
Among other things.
I'm scared if I go first. I'll never get another chance.
I understand. Tell me, is that what you're scared of now?
In a way.
In a way?
I'm so scared of never getting another chance with so many things that sometimes they never start.
And yet, you want to get into my stomach.
Not permanently.
Good, because I wouldn't let you. Tired, yet scared to get started. Just being exhausts you sometimes, yes?
Yeah.
I see. Close your eyes. You closed them without asking her a thing. You felt her scaled hand, massive, wrap around your body. Her grip is strong, but feeling it around you, it's impossible to miss how effortless her control is. She knows her own strength and squeezes with only enough power to make you feel like you're being hugged. Eyes closed, you sigh, body pulling in for the inhale, shoulders dropping for the exhale. She holds you there for a little while longer, then releases. You can open your eyes now.
Thank you.
All right, I've made my decision.
That fast?
Well, 1, my decisions are my decisions. I make them how I like. 2, I certainly wasn't going to put you through some adventure journey.
Oh, so?
Your voice hits that tremor, exactly between anticipation and anxiety, excitement and worry. It's awfully common. Yes, I will eat you. For a little while. You can't hide the pleasure on your face, nor would you want to. It blends with the gratefulness in you. This was something you had to earn, not with some kind of physical trial, but more one of worthiness, one of vulnerability, trust. To be eaten, temporarily, requires not only that you trust the person eating you, but that the person eating you trusts you, likes you enough to put you in their mouth in the first place. Even when it's not sexual, it's an intimate affair. I'm glad you didn't say a little while, because then I might call the whole thing off, right then and there. That's a far bigger problem than I can deal with, or one I want to deal with, for someone I've only known for a little while. And besides, time limits on these kinds of things are important. I have to value myself, you know.
I know.
Now, what do you say?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Her hand lifts you up, all the way to her mouth. She looks you in the eyes now, and you look back, best as you can, with her eyes so much larger than your own. She blinks, and you laugh, and you're not sure why. It makes her smile gently. Okay, no need to rest on ceremony here, or try to invent some. Get in. Her mouth opens up. It makes you want to ignore everything she just said about ceremony. It rolls an urge inside of you, pushes on a thought to make this a far more involved affair, itself urged on by catching yourself staring into her mouth, staring at her white tongue and the blue goo below it, just below her array of teeth, which she so kindly kept out of the way. She was going to eat you, after all, for your comfort, not for her nutrition. A very important distinction. Well, what are you waiting for?
Sorry, I zoned out.
She opened her mouth back up, wider this time. You took a deep breath, unsure if you were relieving yourself of anxiousness or trying to get beyond that initial moment of dreaming about such a thing and into actually doing it. Like a dog that actually catches a car, you were lost for a moment. Your right foot steps inside first, to the side of her tongue, into that blue goo below. It's warm. Hell yeah, we guessed right.
Nice.
Soothingly warm, like it belongs at a day spa. Then your left foot, onto her tongue. It's strong, muscular, more powerful than your entire body, you're sure. Right foot onto the tongue now, and then a step ahead with your left, and then right. She was slowly closing her mouth now.
Question, were we naked this entire time, or were we fully clothed in here?
I don't know.
Because that seems unsanitary.
Nah, I don't know. Maybe the goo is antibiotic.
No, okay. You know what? I like that.
Her mouth closed slowly, letting you get used to the feeling of being inside it, letting you get used to the lack of light as her teeth fitted into each other. When she closed all the way, you didn't feel trapped. No, when her mouth closed, it reminded you of closing the door behind you when you visited a friend's. Stepping out from the cold and into the warmth, finding shelter and care. The farthest thing away from trapped. You held still, arms at your side, shoulders drooped but not feeling heavy, lighter than they had in months. Her tongue curled and nudged at you, urging you forward. Her mouth opened back up to speak. Come, unless you're having second thoughts. You're here to get eaten, not hang out in my mouth. If you're worried about how you'll get out, it'll be through my second stomach down below. Don't worry, you won't have to climb down my throat. Once you get far enough, I'll just swallow. Her voice was so much fuller now that you were hearing it from in her mouth. Her tongue kept lifting you up and down while she spoke as well. You nearly fell on your ass, trying to stay on 2 feet while she reassured her. Huh? You found that funny for reasons you couldn't put your finger on. Giggling to yourself, you walked forward towards the back of her mouth, towards her throat. You're not sure what you expected to find there. And you didn't have any real time to think about it, because just like she promised, she swallowed. You tumbled down her throat. You couldn't get a clear picture of what it looked like in there, but you know how it felt. Warm, so comforting and warm, and the warmth was so comforting, and those 2 words ran in a cycle in your head. There was that blue ooze, too, more of it as you fell down her throat, like a landing strip or a porous cushion. The further you fell down, the more of your body it covered. Never enough to envelop you whole, but enough to stick to you. It made your fall softer, too. You bounced around her throat like a pinball, but never felt any pain. Hell, you found yourself giggling again, louder and louder, too, until you weren't giggling, you were laughing. You laughed until you gasped as the throat came to a stop and you fell into her inner stomach. You hit another cushion of blue ooze, and it wobbled you up and down until coming to a stop, holding you above it with a piece of your back inside it. Porous but firm. Firm yet soft. And so warm. How do you feel? You heard her voice from the outside coming in now, like being spoken through a wall. She was shifting, too, laying down. At least, you thought that was what she was doing. She certainly wasn't going for a walk.
I feel great.
Like listening to soft music?
Better.
That's good to hear. Now rest. While you're in her stomach, the world disappears. It's different than when you're resting in your bed, or anywhere in your home, or anywhere else you knew. When you went to sleep there, the rest of the world was still waiting for you. Obligations, history, responsibility, Mistakes, fears, anxieties, and anticipations. You could rest and you could sleep, but those things were always waiting for you when you woke back up. Of course, they'd be waiting for you here, too, and you knew that, accepted that, understood that, however reluctantly you or anyone else on the planet did so. But when you were in her stomach, something about it, something about being inside someone else, being inside her, allowed you to forget this time. When you closed your eyes and spread your arms, facing toward the sky of the throat you came from above, extended from the comforting interior sphere that was her stomach. Something about being swallowed whole, after asking for it and being granted permission, made the world fade away. It was important to not run away, to not hide. We all did these things for various reasons. Sometimes we have no choice but to. But it could not be the only thing we do. You didn't want to hide, and you didn't want to run, but you did need to rest. You needed to sleep. Inside the thrumming of her stomach, inside the safe, warm, soft enclosure of her stomach and the soothing blues on your back, you felt like you could truly sleep for the first time in months. You didn't dream. How wonderful. You don't dream at all. How wonderful. The world disappears, and you've thought to yourself, this might not be so bad a thing. It's not that you want it it's not that you want it gone forever, nor do you want to disappear. But sometimes you want it to disappear, but specifically only for a few hours. You'd be stronger, better rested when it came back. You sleep, you don't dream. There's no world. There's you, the blues below you, the stomach that holds you, the dragon that the stomach belongs to, and the forest that the both of you are in. That's all. How wonderful.
Oh god, that fucking feeling. Like that desire to just take a break from the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's so often like exactly what that relief from being, like that kind of relief that you want from being depressed.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that you want to sleep, even though it's kind of like the closest thing you can get. You know, it's not like you want to go be alone, even though that's kind of like close too. It's like you just want to take a break from the world, not, and like it's such a perfect way of describing it. Sorry.
All right then. Hey, wake up. Time's up.
That was it?
Haha. Do you even know how long you were asleep in there?
As a matter of fact, no, I don't.
Well, then I guess you shouldn't be asking if that was it, should you?
I guess not.
Okay, time to let you out then.
So how does this all work then?
Well, I can't speak to anyone else and how they handle eating people for a few hours, but like I said, I'm just going to open up my stomach and you can walk right out.
It's a little weird that your body can just do that.
It's a little weird that dragons are real. It's a little weird that you want to be eaten, and so do many other people. Keep up.
Alright, sorry.
The teeth on the front of her stomach mouth pulled away like a Venus flytrap, releasing those that it had caught, simply because, well, they had become friends. Or because the flytrap was acting not to eat, but to comfort. A mouth is a curious thing that can do a lot more than speak or eat. And those utilitarian words do so little to say what even speaking and eating can do as well. Her stomach opened up and light poured down on you, the sun shining through the canopy of trees and into the clearing of grass where you had found the dragon. You truly didn't know how long you had been here. You had no idea how long you had been asleep. Could have been an hour, could have been a whole day. She wasn't volunteering any answers. Don't just keep gawking, out you go.
Right, going.
At first, you had to swim in a shallow pool of the ooze. Too much to walk in, but too little not to feel a little ridiculous for swimming. Then yanking your feet up, approaching the lip, you suppose you'd call it, and stepping ahead, one foot after another. Just as you had walked in through her mouth up above, now you left with the same steps, exiting from her mouth below. You felt like gravity, history, the invisible silent arches that came with just the years of living, had been shaved off you entirely. The kind of feeling you get from a haircut, multiplied. The kind of feeling you got when you bothered to exfoliate. Dead skin, washed off. Tossed aside. Renewed. Well, look at you. You're looking much better already. Of course, you're covered in goo. I hope you've got a nearby laundromat or what's it.
I do.
Ready to take on the world?
Dunno. Probably not. Feel a lot better about moving ahead, though. I feel refreshed, I guess.
She leaned her head down, nudging her muzzle at your back and your neck, pushing you ahead even as she brushed against you like a cat. She whispered to you, It's important to rest. Just don't do it all the time. Then you're not really resting, you know? She gave you another nudge, firmer this time. Best of luck with what comes next. You can't go around doing what I do. You're not nearly big enough for it, and your mouths and stomachs certainly don't work the same, but try and find your own way to pay it forward, eh?
I will.
Good. And don't come running back to just get eaten whenever you feel like it. I've got my own things to do.
No, of course. Thank you so much. Just for this. I mean it.
Ha ha ha. Believe me, I understand the proportion of gratefulness. It's no small thing just letting someone rest inside of you for a while. Appreciate it. Carry it forward.
Thank you. I just said that. Oh well. Thank you again anyway. And I will do that. Thank you.
She laughs and gives you another nudge, firmer again. Yes, you're welcome, but now you must go. Back to the world that's waiting for you. I've got my own things, and you can't stick around here all day thanking me. Go. This nudge is a bit more like a butting motion, even if it was the most gentle headbutt in the world. It made you laugh, skipping your feet ahead on the grass. You turned around and waved goodbye, thanking her again and again as you walked backwards out from the forest cleaning. When she disappeared from sight, finally, you sighed, pleasant and content. You felt like you could handle tomorrow now. Not that tomorrow would be good, necessarily. That was a different belief entirely. A different ideal entirely. But you had finally gotten enough rest, real rest, to handle it. You didn't know if you could explain it to anyone else. You didn't know if you would. But you knew, at least, for your own self, there was something about being eaten that nothing else could compare to. Bless the mouth, bless the stomach, and bless the comfort it gives when given with trust and received with that same trust. You sang to yourself words that had just come to mind. May I rest in the center of the earth, and may she be kind to me, and may I be brave enough to leave that stomach again. May I rest in the center of the earth, and may she be kind to me, and may I be brave enough to leave that stomach again. May I rest. It was a tuneless thing. You couldn't sing worth a damn. The dragon was singing to herself too, though you didn't know it. Not that you would have understood the words she was using, but if you did hear it, you'd hear how much better a singer she was than you, and you'd laugh.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
That was really sweet.
Devour for comfort. Okay. That was a cool game.
Yeah. And like I said, it really fucking gets at that desire that you have when you feel anxious. Like, because I also have, like, fucking shit terrible anxiety. And it's in that desire to just remove yourself from all of that invisible shit going on. I super relatable.
So the moral of the story is, a good way to deal with horrible panic and depression is to slather yourself in weird slime and get eaten by a fucked up monster girl. I think that's what we're supposed to take away from this.
Also, if you need me, I'm gonna go get in bed for a little while, and we can do the next one in a little bit. Bye.
Bye. I'm a horse?
You are. I bet you didn't know that.
I did not.
So I bet your throat's gonna be hoarse after we're done with this. Hey yo. No?
Still got it.
All right, let's do this.
All right, I am a horse. You are a horse.
Pictured. You.
Run in a field or rob a bank?
Let's try running in a field first.
Maybe. This was nice. Heck, this was great. You had no worries out here, drinking in the sunlight, feeling it roll across your fur. You blink your eyes and feel sheer joy cover your body, warming you up from the inside out. Was there anything in life greater than this? If there was, you didn't want anyone to tell you about it. It had only lessened the sheer delight that you were feeling bubbling up inside you and making you feel so alive, so happy, so good and warm. But you've got to rob that bank anyway.
What?
And this is it. The time is now. The place is here. The place is a bank. The job is a bank robbery. The time is when the bank is open, which is now. So, up to this point, everything is going according to plan. You walk inside, wearing your dark blue jacket and opaque aviator sunglasses, giving a few mild nods to the sparse amount of customers inside, and to the teller, who you calmly but quickly approached. The time was now before, but now it's even more now than it was a moment ago.
When will then be now?
Soon. When you get up to the teller, They ask how they can help you. You give a small, short snort, and then you slip them a note. "This is a robbery," it says. They look down at it, and then back up at you. You slip them another note. "I have a gun," it says. They look back to you. You jerk your head downwards to draw their attention lower. You do indeed have a gun. It is a Car PM9, fully loaded, attached to the side of your leg with a messy application of transparent tape you bought at Office Max a week ago. Once the teller gets a good look at the gun, they look back up to you once more. You slip them a third and final note. "So if you could start piling a bunch of money into a large bag, with or without a big dollar sign on the front, I'm not picky, that would be great." With that done, you take a moment to get a better sight of the inside of the bank itself and the customers there.
Is that your horse voice?
Yep, that's what horses talk like. Inside the bank, there's just you, the teller, and 3 customers.
How about we check our status first?
Check
just
our
in
status.
case.
You really wish that your status screen wasn't so much of a mess. You're not sure what most of these stats mean.
What?
What? Aqueduct, or razzle-dazzle, whatever. Something or other. Is this a horse race? Wait, what? Is this a horse racing ticket?
Maybe? I don't know, maybe we should check to make sure we're still in You Are a Horse.
What the fuck? Wait, what?
Let's check to make sure we're still in You Are
What?
a Horse.
Well, at least that's cleared up. You are still a horse, and that is what you're in.
All right,
Get
let's
back to work. Well,
I'm glad we cleared that up.
let's check out customer number 1. There's a customer over by the front who's drinking a coffee from the free coffee pot every bank you've been to has. You're unsure if they ever actually change it and brew a new pot, but it never seems to run out of coffee. He's short, looks to be in his early 20s, has an angular face with angular black hair, seems to work out, and from the looks of his shirt, probably works at the Little Caesars down the street. He also appears to have no interest in stopping you from robbing the bank. "How you doing?" he asks, then slips it back, his other hand in his jeans pocket. You tell him you're doing fine and to not make any sudden moves. He nods his head, says, "Can do, buddy," and keeps sipping his coffee. Okay, but banks, coffee.
Yeah.
Why don't ATMs also serve instant coffee? It would really complete the financial transaction experience. I feel like we're missing
Because
out
then
here.
that would put Starbucks out of business because I'd go withdraw money and get a free coffee instead of paying for coffee.
Yeah, but it would be bad coffee.
Still. I mean, yeah, what's the difference? Starbucks burn!
Investigate customer number 2.
Let's do it!
There's also a customer sitting down with a tablet, playing what appears to be a rip-off of Sim Tower. Honestly, it looks pretty fun. She's small, short in height, tiny in frame, wearing 2 hoodies, one pink and one black, with her legs crossed as she lounges near the entrance of the bank. Tight cropped blonde hair and a look on her face that shows only mild interest with the robbery in progress around her. She waves to you once. You nod your head. She returns to her game and sips a coffee. Which leaves you back to the matter of robbing the bank.
Good.
There's one more customer wearing a large Chicago Cubs jacket and a matching hat. They're parked around that area with all the various slips you can fill out before doing anything in the bank. 4 legs, long mane, and their fur. They look a lot like you, honestly. They ask if this is going to take long. You tell them it probably won't. Great, they tell you, and sip a cup of coffee. Back to the robbery, then.
Good.
The teller looked to be in her early to mid-30s. She had curly dark brown hair, wide shoulders, and a round, soft face with an expression that showed no fear of you. Nor did it show any interest in trying to stop you from robbing the bank blind. In fact, if anything, she seemed to be jealous of you, like she had imagined doing this thing dozens of times before, which she had. She was a little tired and gently sipped away at a half-full cup of coffee before she responded to you. "So do you want that in 1s, 10s, 20s, 100s, or what, hun? I'm not going to bother with any coins except quarters, mind you, and I don't think you want 'em either." You let her know that anything's good, and she casually starts to pile the money into a bag. "You want me to remove the die pack?" You ask her what a die pack is. It's the thing that explodes all over the money and lets everyone know that the money was from a bank robbery. Kind of a pain to deal with, honestly. Especially for when you want to use that money. You let her know that yes, that'd be great if she did that. She whistles the theme to Sanford and Son while she keeps dumping random wads of bills into the bag, occasionally stopping to take a die pack out.
How kind.
Inside the bank, there's just you, the teller, and 3 customers. And you're hearing right now some new guests. Guests with sirens that blared and whined as they came up the street.
Uh-oh.
The sound of those sirens could only mean one thing.
Wait, where's my rune?
It's when that hotline bling.
Nice.
The police were already parked outside, dozens of them. Your hopes for a quick and easy getaway were looking more and more impossible. You expected a high-speed chase at most, but things were rapidly accelerating to the point of desperation. They leaned on their squad cars, talking to each other, casual and carefree. What were they planning, you wondered? How were they thinking up how to take you down and take you in? Suddenly, the radios in their cars crackled to life. All units, there's a bank robbery in progress at the corner of 36th Street and other 36th Street. Suspect unidentified, believed to be tall, long, strong, and with 4 massively powerful hooves. We've got to get out there now, shouted one of them, obviously the head of the bunch, not wearing a uniform, just a long beige coat over a rumpled, aged gray suit on a grizzled, worn-down body. They all piled into their cars, shouting and rattling the whole way. Then they drove off, sirens blaring, pulling a hard right at the corner. Then a hard right at the next corner, and a hard right at the corner after that, and a 4th hard right at that last corner, coming to a dead stop right in front of you. Good God, how did they get here so fast? You'd have to consider your options carefully if you wanted to get out of here alive and still filthy rich. With the cops at the ready outside, guns drawn and waiting for you to make a first move, you know that there's more than one way out of this, but you're willing to consider them all carefully.
Right. So do we get out there, start shooting wildly, or go back inside and ask everyone how we could have done this crime better, or don't say and do anything?
Or negotiate.
I think we should get it peer reviewed.
I think we should ask how to do the crime better. You're naturally frustrated. You entered into this robbery plan with careful consideration. You bought a gun, for example, and you also told the teller that this was a robbery. You figured you had it all sewn up. Hindsight, 2020, bank robberies, and all that. So in the case of future robberies, you obviously won't want to make the same mistakes twice. Looking around, the bank still has all the same people in it. They must have some ideas on how you could have done a better, more efficient bank robbery. You figure you can crowdsource some. As everyone looks to you, silently curious, you ask if any of them have any bank robbery ideas that could have led to you avoiding the police this time that you could use in the future. There's a silence in the room for a while. They seem to be considering it. All from different walks of life, all of them naturally have different ideas on how they'd rob a bank. Eventually, the teller speaks up. You ever see that Bruce Willis movie, Bandits? You shake your head no. Well, she says, holding a pen in her right hand and rolling it around in the air. What they do in that movie is find out the bank manager's name, where they live, and go there the night before the robbery, basically holding them hostage. Then the next day, they have the manager walk them into the bank so they can walk out with all the cash. It always looked really clever to me. It does sound really clever, you tell her. You ask her where the manager is now. Manager's out sick today, she tells you. Oh, so that plan wouldn't have worked at all. Not today, anyway. Wasn't Bobcat Goldthwait in that movie? Asks the customer with the Little Caesars shirt. No, it was Billy Bob Thornton, the teller shoots back quickly. I'm almost certain it was Bobcat Goldthwait, the customer keeps on, eyes rolling up to the ceiling in thought. Billy Bob Thornton and Bobcat Goldthwait are completely different actors, said the teller. Billy Bob Thornton did Jigo's voice in Princess Mononoke. Bobcat Goldthwait has that voice that goes real high and anxious and sounds like it's gonna crack. Are you sure? Because I'm almost certain it was Billy Bob Thornton. Wait, that's a different customer. Billy Bob Thornton was in the movie Bandits, not Bobcat Goldthwait, said the customer with the tablet, cutting in. I checked it on Wikipedia just now. And IMDb? IMDb is going to tell you the same thing I just did. Huh. Well, speaking of bank robbery flicks, I liked Wisdom, said the Little Caesars customer, surrendering the Billy Bob Thornton Bobcat Goldthwait debate. There was still an awful lot of cops outside with an awful lot of guns.
I suppose we should deal with that next.
You asked them if that was a Bruce Willis flick, too. No, you're probably thinking of Hudson Hawk. Wisdom is the one with Emilio Estevez. You asked him what Emilio Estevez did in that movie to rob the banks. Maybe he had good ideas. He just goes on a total spree, getting bigger and bigger with it, even has a rifle or something at one point. And he's not so much robbing banks. His focus is on erasing loan and mortgage records to buy time for the people who are indebted to them. Well, that really didn't help you with ideas for robbing banks. But it did sound like a cool movie, and a nice for the people focus for bank robbing. You might consider it in the future. Anyway, eventually he and his girlfriend, his partner in crime, catch the attention of the FBI, and she kills a sheriff, and they try to make it to the Canadian border, but it all ends up going south. She gets winged. What?
Going south?
She gets winged. He drops her off with a teacher to heal up and stay under the radar. He ends up at a football field, and he gets shot like 1,000,000 times and dies. You tell him that's a pretty intense ending. But then he wakes up, and it turns out it was all a dream before his job interview. You tell him that's a really bullshit ending. The man in the Little Caesar shirt concedes that even though he likes the flick, that ending was pretty bullshit. Everyone agrees that the idea from Bandits seems like a good one for any future bank robberies you might try. Now back to dealing with the cops.
As long as we got that out of the way.
Well, I guess we should negotiate.
Yeah, let's try.
Negotiation, that's where the real score is, with lots less gunfire and more cops giving you things. Great, wonderful. You tell the guy with the Little Caesar shirt to come out with you to help you handle the talking to the cops. He shrugs and goes, sure, why not? I'm not busy. He means it, too. Coming out the door, the chief is at the ready with a megaphone, while everyone else has their hands anxiously hanging around their guns. You mixed-up criminal, don't you know crime doesn't pay? He shouts into it, then lets off on the trigger. I'm not the robber, I'm just talking for him. Your hostage/assistant negotiator shoots back. What? The chief asks. Your negotiator clears their throat and hollers out, I'm not the robber. What? The chief repeats. I can barely hear you. The customer waves his hands in front of his mouth and then shrugs. The chief nods and jerks his head to a fellow officer. Go get those guys a microphone. Officer Turtle briskly jogs over, handing a smooth, pretty white and seafoam green megaphone to the customer, and then just as sprightly jogs back, coming back around the barrier of cop cars. Your assistant fumbles with the handle for a little before finally putting it up to their mouth, pulling the trigger, and hollering, Thank you! You're welcome, the chief replies. Now, what are your demands, or wants, or general desires?
All right, so we got a couple of options here.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we? You know what? We had some success crowdsourcing ideas earlier. Why don't we see if they have any tips for us?
Yes, let's do that. They look deep in thought at your question, rubbing their chins, eyes toward the sky, all churning with their own ideas on how they personally would avoid getting caught by themselves. Officer Magno was the first to volunteer her thoughts. If it was me, she started, drawing out her words to give herself some time to think them over, what I would do is create some kind of distraction, some kind of chaos, to catch the cops' eyes, and then I would escape in all the chaos with all the money. She rubbed her hands together and clicked her tongue, looking from side to side. I mean, that sounds like a pretty solid idea, right? A little basic, but... No, that's about what I was thinking, the chief concurred, bobbing his finger in agreement. Definitely some kind of loud, big distraction that would catch all my attention, distracting me from myself escaping. The rest of the officers rabbled in agreement. How does some kind of loud, possibly explosive distraction sound for a plan? Your assistant looked to you. You nodded to him. Sounds pretty good. Thanks. You're welcome.
So, do we want to rely on our own ideas, or do we run with that?
I mean, they seemed pretty convinced.
Yeah, all right, let's go with that.
Yeah. That idea is fantastic. Let's use it. Turning back into the bank, you look to the teller and all the customers and ask if they want to help you with creating a big distraction. Will it be fun? Asks the customer with the tablet. Probably, you say. Will it mean we go home earlier? Asks the teller. Definitely, you answer. You look to the third customer, the one who looks a lot like you, the one with the Chicago Cubs jacket. You tell them that they play a critical part in your plan. They let you know that that's fine so long as it's quick. It will be.
Ooh.
You ask if anyone has a lighter. Everyone does.
Nice.
So what do you think they're doing, Chief? Asked Officer Fischetti, playing bridge with Officer Turtle on the hood of his car. Probably getting ready to surrender? He shrugged. They've been in there for ages, so you gotta figure, surrender, right? Yeah. Cutting any sense of calm, the fire alarm bells howled from the bank, filling the whole street with its screams. Officer Fischetti looked the bank over slowly, blinking a few times, watching flames start to fill up the bank, sprinklers futilely trying to put it out. What do you think they're doing now, Chief? Probably lighting everything on fire, then surrendering. The chief nodded with confident certainty. I mean, it's what I would do. Fischetti grunted in agreement. That makes sense. Gunshots rang out, destroying the windows, shattering glass, and sending everyone in the bank screaming as they ran out the doors, running right past the police blockade, and all the officers there stared on ahead, waiting for the right moment. So what do you think they're doing now, Chief? Shooting everything and then surrendering, of course. I mean, you want to get your full mileage out of this kind of thing. How many times in your life do you get to make this stuff happen? That makes sense. 3 minutes passed and the sprinklers finally put out the flames, leaving everyone waiting for you to come out and surrender. 3 minutes passed and the sprinklers finally put out... Oh, I just read that.
No, one more time.
Nope. After 2 more minutes went by, the chief huffed and cracked his neck. All right, I guess they're making us go in after them for their surrender. Jerk. Inside was a horse in a dark blue jacket and opaque sunglasses, standing in the both soaking wet and charred insides of the bank, patiently standing in place. He said hello to the officers. All right, scumbag, you're coming with us downtown. The horse told them that, oh, I'm not that guy. They left. A look of awed, horrified realization started to come on the chief's face. The truth of what had happened dawning on him. His eyes widened, his mouth agape, and he walked up slowly to the horse, putting his hand around the jacket and feeling the texture. No, he muttered, disgust and shock rolling off his tongue. It couldn't be. Soon he was barreling back onto the streets, looking for you, looking for any sign of you, huffing out as he hustled his way up and down the pavement, trying to find any last trace of your very existence. Nothing. It was like you were a ghost.
No, but I thought we were a horse.
We can be a ghost horse.
Okay. I'm just confused.
Miles and miles away, cruising down the highway in a dark red convertible, there was a giant pile of cash in the back seat. And in the driver's seat, there was you, a horse, in a Chicago Cubs jacket and matching hat. You'd done it again. You hit them with the old decoy horse. You laughed into the winds of freedom, casually turned the wheel, and drove on, long into the sunset, leaving behind your devilish pursuers and leaving behind any worry. You figured the first thing you'd buy was a really, really expensive waterbed. Congratulations, you are truly a horse. Hell yeah, good ends.
All right.
Good ends.
Accurate horse sim.
Yeah, that's exactly what horses are like.
Oh, wow. All right. I feel enlightened. Play through again for all the horse endings and become even more of a horse?
Wow.
I don't think we can handle being more of a horse. That's way too much
I think
horse.
that's as much horse as my body can handle for right now.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Time for round 4. All right. Finale time.
Johnny Matrix Mobile doesn't want to kill people, but he will.
I never wanted to kill people, said Johnny Matrix Mobile, his hands, and consequently his guns, raised upwards. He trembled with both power and more power, but also, additionally, sorrow. And tragedy, too.
I'm not so sure of that,
Replied Goodman, yes, skeptical, even uncertain. One might say, disbelief. He leaned forward in the cold darkness, taking a moment to look upwards at a pitch-black sky that felt like the end of the world, before returning to looking Johnny in the eyes, which were far more apocalyptic.
If that's the case, why did you kill all those people?
Johnny looked down at his hands and the guns they held, and heaved out a tired sigh. Things never go the way we want to, do they, Goodman? A long memory, and a long story with it, came on strong within Johnny Matrix Mobile.
Shall we feel remorse/regret?
Yep.
Let's do it.
The first time was an accident, Johnny thought to himself, and also said out loud to Goodman. He thought back to then, to that first time when it happened. 2 years ago it happened. Standing over a total stranger, I had him cornered. This bastard would be what sucked me into my endless nightmare of misery and pain.
What happened?
Goodman asked, while Johnny thought of the chilling rain on that day, the air that seemed to choke them both. He killed my sister, Johnny replied gruffly.
Tragic.
Goodman replied. I was so heated up, so angry, so boiling with blood, that I was ready to kill him.
Tragic.
Goldman shot back. He couldn't do anything about it, disarmed, lying on the ground. I was ready to kill him, like the others I had killed before, in a life I thought I had left behind.
Tragic,
Goodman whispered. With one deep breath of fresh air, I was calming down, was going to let him go, but... Goodman pressed on. Johnny steeled himself, closing his eyes, remembering what it was like to kill for the first time, all over again, after all the other times. Then he looked back down at his hands and guns again. My hands are permanently gorilla glued to these guns.
Tragic,
Goodman muttered, his voice shaking. And that's when it happened. Kill people.
Do it! Just do it!
The guns went off. Johnny had killed the first in what would be the start of a long, dismal, painful spiral of death, the corpses stacking around Johnny like so much trash. This hired killer who Johnny just killed, the air filled with the scent of blood and gun smoke. But it wouldn't be long before it was filled with even more of those scents. I felt real bad, Goodman, Johnny said, thinking of the haunted look that nameless corpse gave him and how it chilled him to the bone.
How bad it feel, Johnny?
Real bad, Johnny whispered, then shuddered. But also, it felt good. Good to get revenge.
Johnny,
Goodman started, his voice trailing off, unable to find more words. But I couldn't stop at revenge, Goodman.
Why not, Johnny?
I had to get to the bottom of why they killed my sister, said Johnny Matrix Mobile.
And?
Goodman kept on, knowing there was more. And, Johnny said, choking back tears for a moment, while an electric adrenaline flow ran through him. And I had to get extra revenge.
Double revenge,
Goodman concluded. Johnny nodded in agreement, remembering all those bodies.
Oh, God.
There were a lot of people in that abandoned factory, people who worked for the organization. They all had their own stories, their own lives, their own histories, and their own reasons for working with the organization. Johnny thought to himself then and now that maybe he could have connected to them, gotten to know them. Maybe they weren't so bad, just sucked up in rotten circumstances like he was. He didn't want to kill them. Not really. Just thinking about it was filling him with anxiety, his body getting covered in sweat, limbs locking up, mouth feeling dry. Kill people? It was so hard to imagine doing. It was so wrong, so terrible a thing to do. Kill people. Johnny had killed 36 people then, in a row even. 36 whole people who he knew nothing about, cut them down mercilessly. Johnny felt regret then in that abandoned factory.
Excellent. We should feel remorse and or regret.
Yep. Johnny felt horrible about killing all those people. I felt horrible, Goodman, Johnny told Goodman.
Tragic,
Goodman replied, shaking his head as the weight of the world felt like it was bearing down on them.
But Johnny, do you think it also felt good?
I don't know if I felt good about killing them, Goodman. But I know this. Killing them felt good.
My God!
And it just kept going, Goodman.
But why, Johnny?
Well, I still wasn't to the bottom yet of why the organization did what it did. But I did find out something about them then.
What's that, Johnny?
Those bastards killed people.
Unforgivable!
I know, Goodman. And that's when I knew, Johnny uttered, words tracing, fading on the street's cold wind. I had to kill them. Johnny thought back to the next slaughter, in an abandoned warehouse. There were so many of them wandering the floors. It seemed like it would have been impossible to take them all on. Kill people. Using incredible, death-defying, action-packed, thrill-a-minute, but also really tragic backflips, front flips, dives, rolls, and spins, Johnny killed everyone in that warehouse with nothing but the guns his hands were permanently attached to. I didn't want to kill them all, Goodman, but I had to.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure, but I know they had to die.
You must have felt sick to your stomach, Johnny.
I did, Goodman. I had to find a way to make up for all my sins, Goodman.
You've got a pile of them, Johnny.
That I do. Then, before, and now, standing over all those corpses, I came to only one conclusion. There was only one way for me to redeem myself for all that death, all that bloodshed. Only one way to find redemption. Only one way to make good from a situation that started bad and just got worse with every shell case, every bullet, every body, every drop of blood. All of it on my hands.
What did you do, Johnny?
Johnny Matrix Mobile inhaled deeply, his hands on the guns they were glued around feeling ever colder in the night, the rain never stopping. I knew I had to kill all of them. Johnny tore through the city, through the entire United States and back, leaving a massive trail of bodies that grew in size with the regret in his heart and the satisfaction he felt every time he pulled the trigger. One place after another, they all fell to Johnny's hands as he raced to get to the bottom of the source of the bastards who killed his sister, who even killed to accomplish things and goals in general. It was unacceptable. Johnny knew that, and he had to make it stop. He was fast on his way there. As I was getting close to the head of this organization, I was stopped.
By who, Johnny?
Johnny closed his eyes, thinking of her, thinking of what she said to him, the way he made him feel about who he was and what he had done. She told me something I had never considered, that maybe, just maybe, I didn't have to kill all those people.
That's ludicrous, Johnny!
Goodman spat out. I know how it sounds, Goodman, but this beautiful, wise, sensible, powerful, incredible, beautiful woman, she told me that maybe there was another way to solve these problems, a different way to redeem myself, a different way to live my life, Goodman.
Another way,
Goodman let out, thinking quietly on the idea. There had to be another way, she told me, and I knew. There had to be another way. What's the other way?
Is it don't kill people?
I don't know. We could also kill people.
I don't know. I think it's just radical enough to work. Let's try.
We're gonna kill people?
No. All right. Well, we could try not killing people.
We could. You can't click it. Of fucking course, we kill people.
Well fucking played.
But, Johnny continued with his gruff, gravelly voice, blood running down his face, trickling past all the dried blood that was also on his face. In the end, I knew there was no other way.
You did it again, Johnny, didn't you?
Johnny sucked in the wind through his teeth. I did, Goodman. I did. I killed people.
That was a good punchline.
Kill people. Feel remorse.
Regret.
Eventually, it was down to just me and the boss, Goodman. Him, I got to know the best. He told me his whole story.
Was it tragic, Johnny?
Incredibly tragic, Goodman, Johnny cried. I about cried, listening to it. He may have ordered the killing of my sister, but I listened to him, his whole life story and why he did what he did. He was a scumbag and he deserved to die, but... The rain had been falling for 8 hours now. Johnny looked up to the sky once more, thinking on how all this murder had started with something as simple as the murder of his sister, and the subsequent murder of the person who murdered his sister. But I felt he was a scumbag with feelings.
So what did you do, Johnny?
Johnny clicked his tongue before squatting down on the ground. He closed his eyes and focused his memory. He remembered the sounds, the smell, gun smoke and blood, just like all the rest. Goodman, yes, felt a chill to his bones. He felt like he was practically there, the way Johnny had told it to him, like he'd been watching the whole time.
I can't believe you killed all those people, Johnny.
Neither can I, Goodman, but I had my reasons.
You did have your reasons, Johnny.
They killed my sister. I had to get revenge. I had to get to the bottom of the organization. I had to redeem myself for all those killings, and I had no other choice. His powerful hands trembled weakly as he stared down at them, with my hands attached to these guns. I feel horrible, Goodman, like I've made an awful mistake that I had no way of getting around. Goodman nodded, huffing and crossing his arms. He looked down into Johnny's face, curious, confused, and yet tinged with judgment. Johnny looked back to him, and it felt to Johnny like he was looking right at himself, with those piercing, soul-rending eyes.
Did it feel good, though, Johnny?
Johnny looked down at the ground and let the rain keep falling. It was all over now. You did bad things with good intentions. And bad intentions, too. In the end, you did good, while also making everything worse. 1 billion points.
That's a good amount of points.
Congratulations, you're complex. Johnny Matrix Mobile will return in Johnny Matrix Mobile 2. In a world where... Okay. Hell yeah.
I think we're good.
That was fucking silly. I loved that. Thank you, Colin Spacetwinks. How did I never play any of these until now?
I don't know, but it's amazing.
Hell yeah.
I'd give you a high five, but I can't. Because these guns are gorilla glued to my hands.
Shit, me too.